Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Donna Just Being Real. My channel is all about dating, love, relationships, and toxic relationship advice channel. And yes, I use different things as teaching tools to help people to date smart, not thirsty. Yes. Alright, so we're going to get into this Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. Yes, that's tonight's topic. We're going to get into it. Now, I wanted to discuss this a little bit earlier, but the reason why I didn't, because I just wanted to wait a little bit longer to see more stuff come out. You know, I don't like to just jump on things that just come out. I try to wait till a little bit more things come out. Now, if anybody who has been watching my commentary in the past, and they would know that I've done a lot of commentary on the Tate Brothers. Yes, I have. On Andrew Tate, that's the one that you see that's on your left. And then Tristan Tate, the one that you see on your right. Hold it just a second, please. Excuse me, Tristan Tate that you see on the right. Okay, now we're going to show you quick. This is their family right here. Over here we have Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, and they have a sister. I forgot what the sister's name is, but she is married, and I believe she lives here in the States. And that's the father, and that's the mother, right? So if you want to know a little bit more about them, you have checked my past commentary, because I've done commentary on them. And why did I focus on them? Because due to the fact that when it first came out that Andrew Tate was banned, and they were saying, oh, he's saying these horrible things, and he's a misogynist, and he's bad for the young men, and the stuff they were saying, I was like, whoa, 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 who is this person? Right? Because it was one of my viewers' requests. So I decided I looked it up. So I was looking for it. I was like, oh my gosh, saying these things. But then something said pause a little bit. And I remember I kept contacting Jack. Like, Jack, I can't find really anything bad about these guys. What everybody's saying, I just don't see it, right? Okay, so then I just, just did commentary. I ended up doing it differently. That's why I don't like to jump on things too quick, right? So now it's back in the news again that he's in trouble, right? And it's all kind of allegations. So we're gonna Jack is my co-host, and he's gonna read the article, and then I'm gonna also share my thoughts and opinions, and I'm gonna also show a couple of clips too on Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. Now we're gonna first start off with this first clip. Now this first clip I'm gonna show you here. See, this is what I feel that this is a possibility. Just could be a haters thing. Right? Because they do come out kind of harsh. And even like my sons, they listen to him and they say he's very funny, and they say, yeah, he does come off harsh, and sometimes that could ruffle some people's feathers. Right? That could ruffle some people's feathers. Don't know. Whatever. But okay, let me show you this first. Let me take this off here. Okay, let me show you this first clip, and then after this clip, Jack is going to read an article. Then after that article, then I'm going to share some thoughts and share my thoughts and opinions. And what you do is you hit the like button and also share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Make sure everybody be respectful about this, okay? Let's be respectful. But I would like to hear your feedback. All right? And I'm going to greet people while this thing plays. Let's get it. Oh, real quick, let me let you know. Now, this one here is kind of like a motivational. Well, it is motivational. And it's about how to stop being lazy. So we're going to hear what Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate has to say about this. Let's get it.
Meetings are the core of our monumental success.
That's right.
How do you deal with procrastination and laziness?
Why are you asking me that question? Why are you on this podcast asking me how to stop procrastinating? Turn off YouTube. Go do something. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with people? This is exactly what you were talking about asking a question where you already know the answer to. You know the answer is to stop doing things that waste your time and apply yourself to something important. Now, this may not be a waste of your time, but let me tell you, you're a dumbass, clearly. It's like Googling how to get fit, like you just said. Everyone knows what a push-up is. Do 10,000 of them a day. Stop wasting your fucking time. You know, I've never had to deal with procrastination. I've never had to deal with not being motivated because what is the alternative? Literally, be a loser forever. I am sick of reading shit on the internet saying, yeah, you know, some people are special and they take longer to bloom and your time will come. Let me tell you something. 99.9% of people who are born broke, live broke, stay broke, die broke. That is the reality for almost everybody. The internet and it's all going to come to you at the right time bullshit is fucking a psyop.
He has a point. I agree with that one. See, stuff like this kind of ruffles people's feathers when when people come up hard like this. They don't really like a reality check. It's really hard for them to deal with. I mean, it hurts me too. But at the end of the day, hey, you can't argue with it. All right, let's get back to it.
To keep you down. You already know the answer. You don't need me to tell you. Why the fuck are you asking 4 men who do not know you personally how to stop wasting your time? I don't even know what you do to waste your time. You already know the fucking answer. Can we ban this guy from our feed, or do you guys want to hit him up first?
Yeah, you nailed it. Procrastination. I'm not going to try and change who you are as an individual. I don't know you.
Have fun staying poor.
Have fun staying poor. I don't know your genetic makeup. If you were a warrior, you wouldn't be asking that question. So you're either going to become a warrior, or you need to adopt the ways of a warrior, or you need to accept your position in life, which is just to suffer the pain of being a loser forever.
Yeah, get a job at the car wash. Maybe I'll tip you one day.
You're correct.
Enjoy.
I agree with what they're both saying on a very, very practical level. Me and Andrew were talking about this.
Hold on a second, Donna.
On the way to lunch, I guess. Or
now, I saw what Tristan. Okay, you back.
Oh, I gotta change it. I'm sorry. I didn't know he was gonna talk now. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me hold this a second, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you should be good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, Tristan Tate says, have fun washing cars and this and that. Now, I don't see nothing wrong with that if your intent is to, move up in life. I mean, you got to start somewhere. He started as a kickboxer. I mean, technically, that's a low manual labor job because you don't make, in the beginning, the kickboxing, you don't make any money because you need sponsors. You need people to sponsor you, represent you. You need to pay for trainers. You need to pay for staff, equipment, etc. So, I mean, I've seen a friend of mine whose father is from Mexico. Of course, he did it the right way. He came through the immigration legally. And he worked at the car wash. Now he owns 5 of them in Fort Worth. So it's just, what they do with it. Let's say somebody works a bank job and they start as a teller. And then they end up maybe 10, 15 years later become the CEO of that bank or whatever institution. Same with McDonald's. You got somebody 17 years old, started as a fry chief or burger flipper, and they become general manager. Then eventually they end up owning a couple of McDonald's. It's just about, what do you want out of this? Do you want more, or do you want less, or do you just want if you want to stay stagnant, then, you can stay stagnant. But if you want to, strive for more, then that's up to the individual. So that point I agree with, but as far as you got to start somewhere. I mean,
And I think, well, let me finish the rest of this video, then I'll share thoughts. Let's get it.
This afternoon is be imperfect on purpose, man. Like, don't.
I wanted to introduce the guy with the red hair, Cutie Pie. This Cutie Pie right here is Jay Waller. He has his own YouTube channel. I listen to it now and then. He gives a lot of advice about business and, talk to young men about, if you're in college and stuff like that, the type of business to get into and et cetera, et cetera. Resume.
I always tell people, like, shoot the fucking gun, shoot. And as long as you're aiming in the general direction you're supposed to, no matter what you do, the first time you shoot that gun, you're going to have to adjust the scope. So shoot the fucking gun so you know how far you're off. Every business pivots. Every workout plan is going to pivot. Everything is going to change. You have to shoot the gun to know how far you're off, and then you start honing it in, and then you actually have a little bit of positive momentum that'll get your ass up and going. So shoot the fucking gun, miss on purpose, be imperfect on purpose, take action over everything, because you're never going to do it perfect anyway. So just go.
I hope that what these two gentlemen said just now about you being a loser and you staying broke pisses you off.
Yeah.
Because if it pisses you off, you might actually do something.
Yep.
That is actually the blessing that these two just gave you, is pissing you off.
Or I'll see you in the car wash.
Yeah,
I don't care if you turn your life around. I don't know you. I don't care.
There's not many truly, like, if you put effort into the universe, I think it's Newton's second law, right? Equal and opposite force. People always say, oh, I wish I had something to work on. You could work hard on anything. It can be the most jackass thing. You can work hard on, I don't know, fucking whittling buildings. Whittling twigs. But if you truly work your ass off, it's difficult for it to have a negative impact on your life. Maybe you'll end up with an Instagram page, the best Instagram page on twig whittling. And who knows, right? My point is that it's very hard to find truly negative energy that's directed in a semi-positive direction. It's hard to say I'm working my ass off at X and it's made my life worse. You're not doing anything, and you're asking the question, hoping I'm going to give you some magical answer that's going to allow you to be motivated forever. But motivation isn't real. Everyone says this. Motivation is not real. Discipline's real. I do not feel like training, but I still train because I'm a disciplined individual. You don't get to go through life only doing the things you feel like doing. Do you know who gets to do that?
Women.
Beautiful women. Beautiful women get to do what they feel like doing. As a man, you have to do the things you're supposed to do, because what we said earlier is absolutely true. It's player versus player, my friend. Now, if I wake up, I've already got this massive head start over you in life and nearly every genetic gift, plus all my finances, plus my network. And I wake up and I decide, even though I don't feel like working, I'm going to work my ass off. And you wake up way down there, a peon, and you can't be bothered to work. What chance do you have against men like us? You don't stand a chance. You can't get the girl. We'll take the girl off you. We'll bankrupt your ass. We'll kick you out your house. You name it. You don't stand a chance. Now, if you're going to wake up and look in the mirror and understand that you're absolutely not only crushable, that you're a rabbit and that lions exist, and that's not going to motivate you to do something about it, then you're a lost cause. And there's no point in asking us a question. You know exactly what you need to do. If you want to stay killable, then stay killable. But I can't live that way. I would refuse to live that way. It's a disgrace to my bloodline. It's a disgrace to my parents who struggled to raise me for me to be anything other than the best version of myself. That's honor. I have honor to my last name and to my ancestry. It would be disgusting for them all to have fought saber-toothed tigers so I can wake my lazy ass up, jerk off all day, and ask on YouTube how I can stop being a fucking loser. You understand where I'm coming from?
Oh, 100%.
So this is down to you, my friend. And listen, you may feel fired up for 10 minutes after this little talk, but you're not going to feel fired up forever. You need to put systems in place. You need to get discipline. And like Justin says, you need to get an atmosphere of people around you who are going to keep you accountable and not make it easy for you to continue to be a fucking nobody. And then you're going to fix your life. Otherwise, you're going to stay a nobody. That's your problem. It ain't my problem. It's your problem.
But also, we need people at the car wash. When I go to McDonald's and I order a burger, someone has to make it. And I used to make them. I ain't even hating. If you're in McDonald's trying to better yourself, working your job away, good for you. Work on your side hustles, work on yourself. I used to work in fast food, but we need people to make those burgers.
Okay, Jack, get into the article, then I'm going to show some other clips.
All right, let me go and get started. Let's look at this thing from Dextero. don't know who they are. Andrew Tate's arrest, investigation, and allegations explained. As Vice TV set to broadcast a special report on January 12th featuring women who have leveled accusations of rape and strangling against the controversial influencer. Let's run through everything that has happened since the arrest. This Thunderberg lady versus Andrew Tate on Twitter, December 28, 2022. Exchange between Greta Thunberg and Andrew Tate has become one of the most liked Twitter posts of all time. To kick things off, Tate decided to take a shot at the Swedish climate activist, tagging her in the account on the post. He says, "Hello, Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars listing the specs of each. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." The 20-year-old snapped back saying he had a small dick energy. Okay. A topic that quickly went viral on social media. Wow. And she says, "Yes, please do like me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com." Okay. And Pizza Box, December 28, 2022. After 3.9 million likes racked up the original post from Thunberg, social media users were eagerly anticipating a response. Soon after, Tate recorded a short video of himself smoking a cigar with a pizza box in front of him. He made a joke on how the box itself was not recycled. And he responded, "Thank you for confirming via your email address that you have a small penis at Greta Thunberg. The world was curious, and I do agree. You should get a life." And a rumor spread over social media about Romanian police tracking down a location of the eatery that prepared the pizza. Recognized that he was in Romania, moved forward to a house raid. Now, believe it or not, let me pause that right there, is because, believe it or not, that's not true. The Romanian police already knew where they were. They picked them up last time in April 2022. So they knew where they were from the first time when the allegation came into play. Let's see. Thunderberg person replied on Twitter, "This is what happens when you don't recycle your pizza boxes." The rumor was later dismissed by authorities, as reported by Washington Post. The spokesman for the DIICOT said it was not the pizza box, adding it was a hard job gathering all the evidence for the months-long investigation, even though they got arrested in April. Andrew Tate arrested and raided in a Romanian home, December 29th, 2022. Using a pizza box to confirm Tate was in Romania, he was subject to a house raid in his home, with the country's authorities arresting both him and his brother Tristan Tate. They were detained on suspicion of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group. DIICOT confirmed that they had been investigating human trafficking rings since 2021 who were misleading victims into marriage. 4 people were detained in the 24 hours of Tate being raided. Prosecutors told Reuters the cam girl business was subject to investigation. The arrest was sanctioned by the Directorate for Investigation of Organized Crime and Terrorism in Romania. Court in Bucharest extending defendant's detention by 30 days. Okay. Tate blames agents of the Matrix for arrest December 3rd, 2022. Following his arrest, Andrew Tate tweeted the Matrix since their agents. The tweet has been viewed over 54 million times since it was put out. So he's still tweeting behind the walls. He is still tweeting. He still has access to Twitter. Very interesting. Tate's car collection seized January 3rd, 2023. Report. News outlet Romania several assets were received, including Andrew Tate's car collection with his infamous Bugatti, as well as the villa owned by the 2 Tate brothers. The DICOT prosecutors also seized the impressive car collection of the 2 famous millionaires, worth over 5 million euros, which in 5 million euros in US dollars be like $6.5 million. They also seized several buildings, including the buildings where the 2 brothers live, and allegedly seized 6 young women, the report says. 2 women accused Tate of rape and strangling on January 4, 2023. Reported Vice on January 4 stated 2 women had alleged Andrew Tate of physical abuse, including rape and repeatedly strangling girls who worked in the cam girl business, being investigated. The news article also states Tate had been arrested back in 2015 on suspicion of rape, with the UK authorities declining to prosecute. Vice TV special report to feature allegations January 12, 2023. Vice will be broadcast special report covering serious allegations made against Andrew Tate by several women. Short documentary will be shown on Vice TV on January 12, at 11 o'clock Eastern Central Standard Time. The short trailer was shown a week before its release.
Which I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I did watch the trailer, but I don't know if I can show the trailer on here. So that's why I don't have it here. Okay, now let's go back. When you was reading the article, well, I'm going to show you that clip we're going to get into, because there was this situation that Andrew Tate was on the Big Brothers show, and then he got kicked off because due to the fact it was allegation that he was beating on women. But the woman came out and she talked about it. She said, no, it was just basically a little, sexual thing that they was doing, and it was all consensual. And she actually came back out again and spoke, but I'll show that clip later. All righty. Now, let me show another clip here. Hold a second here. All righty. What clip? Oh, okay. Let's get into this one here. I'll go back to those other ones later. All right. This is the clip of the arrest and the raid. Let's watch this one. Why do I keep messing up? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it.
Nothing else? No. Okay. Can go. The table.
Okay, now with the next clip we're going to see is going to be about with the famous pizza box.
So Andrew Tate and Greta have went at it on Twitter, but this is Andrew Tate's final response.
Release some greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange. I mean, also, I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but it is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled. Thank you. So I'm not actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot. And then, because I called her out on it, the global matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting to try and pretend that her telling me that she has a small dick in her own email address somehow teaches me a lesson. Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show. But now I know, at least, that Greta, with a little hate-filled face, bitter, sitting somewhere without the heating on, in the cold, a little hat, shivering, views my tweets, which is going to make my Twitter account far more fun into a tournament.
What do you guys think on this whole situation, the whole interaction between Tate and Greta has?
Okay, Jack, you want to do a quick comment on that before I get on to the next clip?
Yeah, I don't believe he should have entangled with somebody like a twit named Greta Thunberg, who's just a loudmouth.
I find it so
midget. I mean, you know she's a midget. So I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and argue with a midget. You know. And he should never argue with a midget.
Now,
guys,
disagree.
if you're successful, you're out there in the world, don't argue with midgets. Please. You know, just like short guys, don't argue with real short guys. You know. So don't argue with midgets. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, I can't. Okay, now we're going to show another clip. I'm going to get into my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. If you just want to hear my thoughts, just give me a second. People watch, make sure you get the replay. I get into my thoughts. But I just wanted to show a couple of different clips, okay? Now, this clip here with this guy, oh gosh, what's his name? I'm going to have to put everything in the description because I can't remember. Zuby? I think it's Zuby, his channel, and they friends or whatever. And he did this interview with Andrew Tate. And I'm just showing a clip of it, which was pretty interesting, about why so many people hate Andrew Tate. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen.
so weird when people do this pocket watching thing and they're always trying to stoke this resentment.
I'm going to speed it up to 125, ladies and gentlemen, on this one. Let's get it.
Of like, oh, this person's earning that much. I'm like, I genuinely don't care how much money anyone is earning, right? If poverty is a problem, income inequality, like, okay, I mean, I guess if it gets to a super extreme level, then it can cause some destability, but it's resentment, it's jealousy, it's envy. And I think it's weird to say you don't care about something, and then you see someone else who has it or is doing well in that level, and you want to make these nasty comments at them. That's very weird to me.
Yeah, they hate themselves and they hate the world and they're nasty, bitter people, and then they try and hide behind virtue to attack others. They try and pretend that that person having a car is not jealousy on their part. It's because they care so much about the starving kids who that money could go to some kid. Every time you've seen that shit on Twitter. Yeah, oh, you bought that car, but you could have donated to charity. How much did you donate to charity? When's the last time you did anything good for anyone besides sit around throwing around fake virtue that you've weaponized to be hateful? That's all they are. They're hateful people. They're sad people.
Do you know the one where where this was a few years ago, but I remember Jeff Bezos donated, I want to say $100 million.
Everyone got mad. It wasn't enough.
I remember going through and reading these comments, and I was just like, they're like, oh, this is only X percent, right? They go and look up his net worth, and then they do the calculation, and they're like, that's only 0.X percent of it. I'm like, bro, it's $100 million to homeless people. How much I'm like, I'm sure you guys are walking past homeless people all day. You're not giving them any money. You're not even speaking to them. You're stepping over them and so on. This guy's donated $100 million. Who cares if he has billions more? That's 100. I was just like, you know what? These people are
bro, you can't satisfy these people. And you're right. They'll step over a homeless person all day long, and they won't give 1% of their net worth away. What's actually scary though, once you kind of get to a certain level of wealth, you get these charity things all the time. People come to me and say, "When do you give to charity? When do you give to charity?" And I don't advertise my charitable donations because I don't want to buy virtue, because that's what I think it is. If you give a bunch of money away and then you tell everyone about it, you're just buying. I feel like you're paying to be liked as opposed to giving to charity. So I don't really mention it. But what I have started noticing is it's hard to give to charity because most charities are fucking scam. So like if I built an orphanage in Romania and I have my own charity that rescues street dogs, and then I do a lot of charity personally. Like if I know somebody and they have a problem, I'll give them money. I had a friend whose daughter was sick. I gave them money, or I have a friend who needs something. I'll give him money. But people go, when do you give money to charity? It would really bother me to give $5 million to some charity, some organization, and less than 1% of that end up helping anybody. And that's the truth about most charities. So people go, give money to charity. I say, no, most charities are just NGOs and covers and scams. I'm not funding some chief executive's Lambo. The guy you see on the Lambo on the street who you're mad at runs a charity. Like, these people don't even understand how the world works. They don't even understand the world. So it's not even that easy to just give money away like they pretend it is. But these people don't care about humanity. These people are anti-human. These people just care about trying to feel better about themselves. And there's a reason why they say misery loves company. And when you're truly hateful and you hate yourself because you've absorbed the matrix programming, and like I said, you're always going to be unhappy because of that, then the number one way you can feel better, in fact, probably the only way you can feel better besides snapping out of the dream, is to attack other people and make them feel bad. I know, I'll say this now, and everyone's going to say it's arrogant, but it's true. The reason the hate storm around me is so fervent, and the reason it got to such fever pitch, is not because of the things I say. It's because I am tall and strong and funny and sexy and humble and charismatic and rich as fuck. That's why they looked at me and go, he has everything. But now is my chance. It's like trying to get the school bully. Even though I bullied no one, it's trying to get the cool kid in school.
And he has a point why a lot of people, hate on him about, because he's tall, he's charismatic, he has a lot of money. But it seemed like a lot of people seem to forget that he didn't have anything. His mother and father divorced was young. I guess they was living in the States. I think Chicago. Don't quote me on it. They was living in the States or whatever. But then she moved to London, if I believe, because she wanted to go out there and, get public assistance or whatever. So they basically was, struggling. Didn't have anything. And his whole attitude, him and his brother, was like, look, we're tired of being broke. We're tired of struggling. We want the hot girls, the hot cars or whatever. They want the life. Hey, they have to work hard and to make it happen. He was in college for a minute, and whatever in college, I guess he felt it wasn't for him. And I think he said that he told his mother he wanted to get into kickboxing. Mother was like, oh, Lord, have mercy. So he, struggled, didn't have anything. And people seem to forget about this, about with, the two brothers and stuff like that. All right, let's resume.
He's the cool guy. Look, he has all this money, and he's tall, and he's got his fun life, he's got his jet, and he's smart. There's nothing I can attack this guy with. He ticks every box. But now we're ganging up on him. The rats are ganging up on the tiger. We can get a bite in. Now's the chance. If I was any less fucking successful or objectively, if God hadn't given me so many of his favorite attributes, if I didn't have every dream of, they wouldn't have attacked me like they did. The reason they did is because there's people out there who have none of the things I have, and they just said, and they were just angry. They're angry. It's nothing to do with what I say. If anyone actually listens to what I say and doesn't let their ego get in the way, they'll understand that it's a massively positive message. You're right. The way I word things can offend some, but those people who are too offended to take positive from it are a lost cause anyway. Good. You're a lost cause. Goodbye. But most people who listen to myself can understand it. But yeah, that's what it truly happens. These people are just hateful people. They're full of hate. They're the least tolerant, most hateful people on the planet.
Yeah, what I like to say with people, even people who take an issue with you or some other people, is I say, look, you can eat the meat and spit out the bones, right? So if you're like, you know what, that 20%, that 10%, I don't like, I don't agree, I find that part objectionable. I'm like, you can still gain value from the part you like. There's 8 billion people on this planet. No two of us agree on absolutely everything. But if you see someone having success in any dimension, you can 100% learn from that person. It doesn't matter if it's physical, if it's knowledge, if it's finances, whatever. You don't need to like them. You don't need to think that they're, you can learn from people you don't even like. And perhaps in the process, you might find that, oh, actually, I do kind of like this guy. Yeah. He's not as bad as what I thought he was or whatever. And I think something that's, that I've noticed in this time, and I'd like to get your perspective on this, it's something I've been thinking about, is we seem to be living in a time where people are harsher. The court of public opinion is harsher and more judgmental of words and tone than of actions.
Yeah, I agree. Because we're living in a world which has just become soft and it's all about feeling.
I agree with that. I definitely agree on that one. Resume.
Right? It's absolutely not really crazy, because this is what happens when you have a society that's devoid and detracted from reality. The fact that I was considered the #1 threat to society for some reason, and I had to be punished for that. Not the pedophiles, not the rapists, not the murderers, not the kidnappers. No, me. Not the drugs cartels. No. The man who says that women can't park cars. He is the #1 public enemy, right? And it's because we lived in a world where people are detached from reality. If you live in if you're realistic, then you're not going to give a shit about having someone with a different opinion to you. There's a reason why when I go to countries which are not as economically successful as the West, nobody has a problem with me. They're like, yeah, I like what you say. I disagree with some things, but I need to feed my family. So cool. They don't have time to be offended like these people do. These people are absolutely massively coddled. They're spoiled. And they think that by just attacking people like me, that somehow they're going to feel better about themselves. What they don't understand, the great irony of it is the reason we all know the age-old saying, strong men create good times create weak men, blah, blah. But it's true. These people out there who are living such a spoiled, coddled existence that they have the time to research everything I've ever said, find the 15 seconds out of the 4 years of podcasts I've done that really, truly offend them, then cut it up, then make a Twitter account dedicated to spreading that as far as possible. The only reason they can live in a society so soft, or they even have time to do that garbage, is because.
Now, what he said is true. Now, a lot of people, do people's commentary, they just take little clips out and they go about the clips. And when I first was starting to do my research on this man, I was with the clips. But I was like, well, what was said before and after? Because this is some serious stuff. So nobody really wants to sit down and watch the whole thing. They just go by the juicy part. Oh my gosh, he said this. I can't believe it. But what led to him saying that? Why did he say that? And that not just with him, that's just anybody in general. I'm not just saying about Andrew, just people in general. Remember when he was little and they did the telephone, and you tell somebody in the ear and they go to the next person, things start changing and stuff like that. So nobody really knows the full story. And a lot of people's attention span is very short. They don't have time. They don't want to. They just go by, oh, they did this, that's it. Resume.
Because of men like me. So they're attacking the creators of their own fucking cradle. It's truly crazy because it's men like me of drive and determination and purpose who stood up and didn't upset the slave programming of the time that built countries like America and the UK, that built these countries. So they're attacking me, not understanding they're destroying, they're biting the hand that feeds them. Because when men like me give up on you and we all disappear and you're left with only people like yourselves, you just eat yourselves, fall apart, and you get destroyed. So it's kind of like full circle. God has a plan. All the people who hate me are going to end up paying for it because they need me. They need men like me.
I was 21.
I find it so weird when people do this pocket watching.
I was 20.
All right, this clip I'm getting ready to show here. This is with Tristan Tate. He is the younger brother. And Tristan, I think he's 35 because Andrew Tate just turned 36. His birthday's in December. I think December 14th, 15th, something like that, right? Tristan Tate, I think he's a Leo or Cancer. I could be wrong. I'm not too sure or whatever. But Andrew Tate birthday just passed. So we're going to listen to this quick, tape about, how they basically didn't have anything to eat and what they had to do to survive. Let's get it.
Was 21 years of age. This is not long ago. 21 years of age. Yesterday was my birthday. And me and Andrew, what did we eat on my birthday?
KFC.
Why did we eat KFC? Because when I was 21, me and Andrew used to have no food. I used to drive my broken Volkswagen Golf to the KFC restaurant in Dunstable, United Kingdom. And I used to sit in my car. And you couldn't ever eat anyone's leftover food if they ever had their mouth on it. But at KFC, they used to buy buckets. And I would sit and wait for people to sit outside, eat their meal, and leave the bucket on the table. And I used to go and take that bucket, 3 or 4 pieces of chicken. And I used to collect 20, 30, 40 pieces of chicken that were perfectly fine left in the buckets. And I used to go home and I used to freeze that chicken. And me and Andrew would break it up, put it in our rice. And that was our meal. That's what sustained us for that hard year. That year we had when I was 21 and you were 22. That's how broke we were. I used to scavenge chicken from KFC because I thought, fuck it, I'm not dying and I'm not losing my kickboxing fights because I don't have enough protein. What am I going to do to make it through the day? That's how broke I was. And that's a sad story if you never make it out. To me, that's a happy story. That's a story of triumph. Now it's like, hey, Andrew, it's my birthday. What we doing? KFC? And it's a big joke. We sit there eating our KFC laughing about how we used to scavenge KFC chicken. So we weren't really poor because Dad was a chess master. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So yeah, what's actually quite amazing is I became like, we're going to go into the Twitch, guys.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone. As promised.
Now I don't know if everybody knows that he became what's the word? Jack, is it Muslim? He's Jack there. Well, basically, he changed his religion. He just recently did. Now, this is a friend of his, been friends for years, and we're gonna hear what he has to say about with Andrew Tate. All right, and I'm gonna put this one on fast speed because it's kind of long. I don't think I'm gonna play it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I'm putting on the fastest speed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it.
I'm going to release a video like I am now regarding the situation with Andrew Tate and my opinions on the whole arrest and circumstances around it. First things first, I'm sending my du'as and prayers to Brother Andrew. Being a Muslim, that's our duty. We have to always give the benefit of the doubt, inshallah, until proven not. But as a brother and a close friend over 15 years, I spent a lot of time with Andrew behind the scenes, behind the sunglasses and all the content you see. And he's one of the nicest, most loving guys there is. You're going to be saying, oh, you're doing this for money, or he's told you to say this, nothing like that. Wallahi, as a Muslim, I know him very well. He's a good brother, and I do not believe anything which has been accused of him. Yes, let me tell you one thing right now. Unless you give me video and they produce video proof of him kidnapping or harming a female, then I'll put my hands up and say he's wrong, he's guilty, and have nothing to do with him. But anything else, I will never accept. I'm not going to go by witness testimonies. I don't believe in the system. I believe they're all out to get him. I don't go by hearsay. I want to see real proof. Until that day, I will never believe any of these rumors. Why? Because I know the guy personally. I know his big heart. I know how loving he is. I've seen him around situations you wouldn't even know. I don't want to mention. I've seen how he gives charity, looks after kids. We go to local charity dues. We go to hospitals. He came to my gym to play with the kids and take pictures with everyone. Local malls, local skate parks. The guy is loved by many for a reason, because he relates to many. And there's a lot of hatred, which I can understand. Look, you don't like to support him, you don't have to like him. I can understand his delivery is a bit tough, why some people hate him. But please, there's a difference between hating someone's speech or what they're standing for and accusing them of such a heinous crime and something so bad. I'm telling you, why would he go back to Romania, if he's guilty of anything. Surely he's too smart, though. If he's really done a crime like that, you won't even go back to that country, number one. Number two, it's all of a sudden, after this tweets with a certain Greta Thunberg, I think her name was, all of a sudden the heat just got crazy. And now there's claims of, oh, they found him due to a pizza box. I mean, whoever believes that, it's got to be in their own way not the smartest person in the world, purely because as you land in any country or go through any border, immigration, check your passports or documents, they knew who was there. The cameras, the press, they were all there. It was so organized, like a Hollywood movie. The Romanian authorities looked like they wanted to prove a point. Look, guys, we've got Andrew Tate. Maybe it's a political ploy. Maybe it's a way to get into the EU. Who knows what's the reason? Or it's pressure from the West, the US. Who knows? But there's a vendetta against the guy. And if you don't like his content, switch it off. He has every right to say what he wants, like anyone else has every right on their side. People don't judge when LGBTQ is pushed and kids follow that. But yet he's an evil person because kids follow him and kids look up to what he's saying. What's the difference to you or them? What's the difference between both, actually? Andrew Tate is a positive role model for many kids. And I'm telling you from experience of having thousands of students at that age. I was at a skate park with my kids yesterday in Dubai. I'm not lying. Wallahi, maybe 15 to 20 kids wanted a picture with me purely because of Tate, saying you're Top G's friend and we love him, we support him. If he ever comes out, can you bring him here? And I promise them one day when he's released, inshallah, I'll bring him to the skate park. He is adored by many positive messages. Look, some of his messages are delivered in a certain way and I can understand, but he all wants positive things from men. He wants them to feel secure, confident, work out, be fit, don't drink, don't be basically a flop of society. Go out there and work and get that. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with his opinions regarding things? Same way you have opinions, I have opinions. I'm a Muslim, I have my opinions. I have things I don't agree with. I won't say don't do yours, but I want to say I want to promote what I'm doing. So please stop all the hate. And all you Muslims out there, brothers, sisters, thanks for a lot of support, but there's a lot of you judging him, saying he's not Muslim, making really bad haram comments. Number one, these podcast clips, let me clarify, which say he's both Christian and Muslim. These were before he reverted one. The ones drinking and all these things before he was Muslim, number two. I'm telling you because I know the dates and I know when they were filmed. Yes, okay, he makes some mistakes retweeting certain things, but a brother doesn't know. He's new to Islam. He doesn't understand the kind of like repercussions of saying something like, Lord, don't judge a new revert on this. Just think the amount of promotion he did for Islam over these years, not being a Muslim, promoting how perfect the religion is, the tolerance. And now you guys are turning your back because of a few claims on the media out to get him. Come on, he's had a telescope on him the whole time from the last investigation. I know the facts of
One thing I have to say about what he's saying, and I agree with him, because I feel, with this, I feel that, well, I'll say my thoughts later. But I like what he's just saying is, when you're going through something in life, ladies and gentlemen, you will see who's your true friends, who got your back. Especially when you become successful, because success breeds hate. You become successful, or if you're down and out, we'll see who's your real friends and your family, who got your back. Because people could smile in your face, act like they're cool with you, they're your friend, they rock with you, even your family, or even the person you're laying down with, your boo. But when things get tough, they gone. Or a lot of people get jealous because you have this fly car and they don't. So they're like, they don't want to be bothered with you. And they'll start acting a little shifty towards you. Anything in life, then you see. So when you're going through the good times and the bad times, and the ones who hang around, regardless of your situation, that's when you know you really got yourself a good woman, men. And that's when you know, ladies, you got yourself a good man. And your family rocking with you, or your friends, or whatever the situation is. And it's sad we have to find out at times like that. But when you're going through times, check and see your circle. See how they act. All right, I'm going to end this video here because he's basically, just saying that. He's just getting into that one. So we're going to get into the next video. Now, the next one I'm going to show here is this lady here.
New footage of Andrew Tate.
This lady here. Wait a minute. Okay. This lady here that we see on the screen is, right? Because like I said, this was years ago, right? When he was on the Big Brothers. And this lady, and I wish I was able to find the first tape, but I didn't. But she came back out to speak again. And the reason why she's speaking again, because she's like, look, this guy's a sweetheart. He's not that type of dude that y'all think that he is, or whatever. Because there was a time that they were saying he was abusing a woman or whatever, and this was the woman that everybody saw that little clip. Remember we said that little clip that started flying around? Because even when I first was doing commentary, I was like, oh my gosh, when I saw that clip, and I said, wait a minute. Something about that clip, it don't look like it looked like this is something kinky they doing. I don't think it's what I think. Then I did more research. See, people don't want to do research. They just want to go for the little clips. So I did more research. I said, oh, she spoke out and said it was just something that, them two did, blah, 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 and the tape just leaked out. Oh, so he didn't do this. Interesting. So she's speaking out again now, currently, after he just got arrested again. Let's get it.
ex-girlfriend has just come out of her defending him yet again. The last time Andrew's ex-girlfriend made a video was when Andrew got put in jail earlier in 2022 for allegedly human trafficking once again.
If you don't live under a rock, then I'm pretty sure you know that Andrew Tate has been arrested for human trafficking and a rape, which is absolutely absurd, simply for the reasons that it's absolutely false. I have lived with Andrew for years and years, and he would never do anything like this, ever. I've already had to make 2 videos regarding his innocence when it came to him being called a woman beater for a video that got leaked of us two having a little bit of a rough role play. I had to make a video clarify, 2 videos in fact, clarifying that he is innocent. And here I am again, coming from somebody who lived with him for years. He is not a human trafficker. He would never rape anybody, and he would certainly never ever human traffic anyone either, including his brother. They would never do such thing. I am just so shocked, and I'm so fed up with all of these lies, talking about Andrew, that he's a woman beater, that he's a human trafficker, he's raped somebody. It is so false. It's so false that it's upsetting. Even though we're no longer together, it upsets me because I know the person I have lived with. I know who he is, and he is neither of those things, and he does not deserve any of this coming his way.
Honestly, too many people have said too many good things about Andrew. Honestly, just seems like the Matrix is trying to delete him, and all his analogies are right. Let us.
Katie Hopkins has gave her opinion.
Here's another clip, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it.
On Andrew Tate getting arrested, and has revealed 2 sides she's on.
Andrew Tate commentary subsequent to his arrest in Romania. First up, all of these people giving their opinions about what they think of Andrew Tate. Well, I'm sure he couldn't give the first shiny penny about what your opinion on him is, because he's a pretty self-contained individual. Second up, all the people who have an opinion on Andrew Tate or want him on their podcast or their TV show or wherever from an interview, and then try and sort of distance themselves or self-inoculate. Well, they wanted Andrew Tate because they wanted the noise he brings. They wanted the clicks he can bring. They wanted the eyeballs and the views that he will bring because he is successful. You were jealous of the attention he's getting, and you wanted some of it. And you should credit him with being able to generate that level of attention. And I think importantly, in a world where all the time we're told who is the bad guy and who is the good guy, it's about time we started working that stuff out for ourselves. So you can hear a couple of clips of his and go, oh, what an asshole. But if you meet someone who's worked with him, he's an operator, he turns up early, he invests time, and he's very easy to talk to. Just a few things to bear in mind when you're making your mind up about Andrew Tate.
It seems like Katie Hopkins is on Andrew Tate's side, which is quite interesting and quite unexpected. What do you guys think about this? Let me know.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Andrew Tate is banned from social media for his videos about mainly women, but when exactly does free speech become hate speech, and who should get to decide that? Joining me now, our political journalist, Tate Tristan Tate, and Talk TV contributor,
I've done commentary when he was on Piers Morgan show. And this was the after response when he because he went on Piers Morgan, and that was very interesting too. I did commentary. Like I said, I did a couple of videos, so you'll have to go back and check, and I'm gonna put them in the comment section in case anybody wants to see the past commentary. All right, so I'm gonna show some of this on a little bit of a faster speed, and we're gonna hear what women have to say about Andrew Tate. Let's get it.
Mr. Krakow, author and podcaster and friend of Andrew Tate, Leah Halehern, and Times columnist Hugo Rifkin. Hugo, let me start with you. Thank you for joining the show. I read your Big Times interview with this guy, Andrew Tate. I found it very interesting because I knew I was going to interview him on television shortly afterwards. And what I was struck by was that although you were pretty outraged by some of the stuff he said and done and found it personally pretty offensive, you didn't really seem to be able to conclude that he'd really crossed a line that deserved the punishment he's received in terms of social media wipeout. Would that be a fair categorization?
Yes, I wasn't convinced because I'm not quite sure what debate we're having here. It seems a given to me that there would be no place for Andrew Tate on a normal conventional media outlet. They're not going to give him your show. They're not going to give him my show on Times Radio. That wouldn't happen. But it raises the question of whether we think that these tech companies, Instagram, Facebook, companies like that, ought to be being held to the same standards as traditional media. If we think they should be, then obviously he has no place in them. If we think they're actually more of a much more free arena where things that we might find in other places unacceptable are in fact acceptable there, then it becomes a whole different debate. And that's a debate we haven't quite settled, I think.
Right, because I mean, to me, it's like when Trump got removed from Twitter and Facebook and so on. If you're going to let the Ayatollah of Iran continue to have active accounts on these platforms, I don't see the consistency in banning a president of the United States or indeed someone like Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I mean that's quite fair. You've also got to accept that look, huge numbers of people wanted to watch him. Huge numbers of people wanted to listen to him. He's very, very good at what he does. In an earlier age, there were people like Andrew Tate who put out cassettes and CDs over now, and much less whole new questions, whole new issues.
It's a really good point. Leah Halpern, you're in Miami. You know Andrew Tate. You've been to his home in Romania. You know his brother. What kind of guy is he? I mean, many people who don't know much about him will hear some of the stuff he's been saying, which I play to him and challenge him on in the interview, and they'll be horrified. But what do you think?
He's an incredibly intelligent man. I think what he's doing is very important right now. There's a huge war on masculinity. Men don't really have any kind of role model that they can look up to. Andrew has been very kind and very generous with me. Like I said, I know him personally. I also know him from a business standpoint. I've spent time with him one-on-one. I've never felt uncomfortable. He's never been inappropriate with me. A lot of people accuse him of misogyny. He's never been misogynistic towards me. And I think what he's doing is incredibly important.
Okay, Eva Tantina, your view of this. I mean, just from the exchange we just did a preview of, where he says he prefers 18, 19-year-old women to 25-year-olds. I think you're 25, aren't you? But, you know, when he generalizes about 25-year-old women in the really, I thought, pretty repulsive manner that he did in public, I think that is misogyny, actually, because he's branding a whole category of women in a very offensive way.
I think it's close to misogyny. I think it's actually more looking at women as objectively sexual objects, which inherently is misogynistic. But it's looking for purity in women. What he's essentially saying between those lines is that he wants some sort of virginal woman. Maybe that's why he takes this girl seriously. I don't know. But I mean, it kind of sounds a little bit like...
But he's, I mean, on the other side, he's allowed to. I mean, he can have these views. Does anything that he says, or the stuff that you've seen with him, does it cross a line where he deserves to be expunged from all social media, to be banished from the internet?
When you've got to look at the reaction that came off that, so the people who were duetting his videos or the people who were spreading his messages, when you've got 15-year-old boys espousing these sort of views where you're talking about women in purely sexual terms, and that has come from Andrew Tate, and that's where the problem is.
What do you think?
I don't actually think that's a very fair assessment. He didn't say, oh, I only date 19-year-olds I prefer. He was making the point, and he could have phrased it better, absolutely. But he's saying
which he did concede, actually.
Yeah,
exactly.
In the interview. But the point he's making is, and he's a very intelligent guy, like Leah was saying, so he knows what he's doing when he's saying that. Obviously, he's got a massive reaction from it, so clearly it's worked. But the point is, you know, he's saying that younger women who have had less experience with men in general are more desirable because they don't come with a certain amount of baggage. Now, you could say there are women that are more experienced that come with less baggage because they know what they want, or they're more mature mentally.
But my view is you shouldn't be talking about women in that generalized way at all of any age group. I know a lot of 25-year-old women in my time, they're all very different. It's like the idea that you bracket them all in this revolting way, which he did, which is just lad in a nightclub kind of way. It's fine, but
that's a generalization.
To do it with a big...
What I know is Piers Morgan, that's what bothered me when he did the interview with Andrew Tate, and I did commentary on it. Jack and I did. And what was annoying is you ask the person a question, let them answer it. He asked her a question, let her answer it. But see, she's not answering the way he wanted her to answer it, so he's basically cutting her off. Let's get back to it. I'm going to go to the next video.
Following, I think, is a malevolent influence.
And what is implied there is their sexual history. That is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But there are women that are 18 that have a more elaborate sexual history.
Well, let me ask Hugo. Hugo, you spent quite a lot of time with him for your big interview for the Times. What did you actually make of him by the end? When you came away, what did you think of him?
Oh, we got on very well, but then we were two men sitting in his cigar room, bantering. You know, we had a good chat and a very honest chat. I mean, we had a very similar conversation to the conversation you're having at the moment. I think in different circumstances, I wouldn't have liked to introduce him to my wife. I wouldn't have liked to have to hang out with him with my female friends. I think that'd be intensely uncomfortable. But I noticed the way that at the moment, what we're doing, we're debating whether or not he's nice, whether or not the things he thinks are nice or right. What we're not debating is whether or not they should be allowed.
Right.
And I think it slightly worries me that we've drifted into thinking those are the same debates.
I agree. When did we already become the moral arbiters for whether people should be allowed a social media platform? I mean, let me go back to Leia. I mean, to me, you might find Andrew Tate's views offensive, unsavory, misogynist, as I did on some occasions with him, although he made some concessions in the interview. I'm not sure by the end that I concluded he'd done anything really so heinous he deserved the punishment he's got. That was my real conclusion, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't think he said anything wrong. I think all he's doing is talking about reality. And I don't think it's misogynistic to say you prefer a woman that's 18 versus 25. It's literally just a sexual preference. It's the same reason why young women prefer older men.
Just to jump in, I don't think that's the misogyny. I had this argument with my sons earlier when they saw the clip. The misogyny isn't that he has a preference for girls of 18, 19, or 25. The misogyny is in the way he talks about every woman who's 25, as if they're all the same and they've all been through this tawdry background which he finds so distasteful. That's obviously ludicrous.
Well, I think he speaks with a lot of hyperbole. His goal was to go viral. Obviously, as Esther mentioned, not all 25-year-old women have been sleeping with every single man that they meet in the nightclub. So there's always exceptions. But I just think in general, a 25-year-old woman obviously has had more experience than an 18-year-old woman. And some men prefer that. Some men don't like that. And I think that's completely fine. I think what really scares me is the sense.
Here's the truth about male-female relationships.
Abby, and blessings to you, girl. All right, we're going to get into another clip. Let's just hear a little bit of his views about, kind of like relationships. And Abby, who's in the chat too, we did commentary together when he did this video he did on the interview with Cheyenne. Like I said, go back and you can check my commentary. All right, let's just watch this clip here and let's get it.
It's the truth about male-female relationships. Women fuck men they respect. That's it. They don't fuck men they like. They don't fuck men they love. They fuck men they respect. If she loves you and likes you and doesn't respect you, she will not have sex with you. I have women who respect me and fucking hate me, but they're here every time I call. So if they respect you, they're going to sleep with you. And this is something that's biological and evolutionary. They fuck men they respect. So how do you make women respect you? Well, first you have to be worthy of respect as an individual. There's no hack. If you're worthy of respect, you're worthy of respect. But secondly, you cannot allow blatant disrespect. So if you allow her to blatantly disrespect you and you tolerate that, then you're setting a precedent, which means, well, why would I respect this guy in the first place? I say this to guys all the time. I've had loads of guys who come to me for like coaching and stuff, and they say, my woman doesn't respect me, da 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 da. And I say, look, it's much harder to fix something that's broken than just never let it go wrong in the first place. Right. From the second you got together, you should have been a man, and you haven't got to be an asshole. You haven't got to be aggressive. I'll sit with a girl and politely say, look, if we're going to be in a relationship, if I'm going to take you seriously, you're not going to have male friends. If you want to hang around with a whole bunch of men, then I'm not going to take you seriously. What do you mean you want to take me seriously? I mean, we can fuck, but I'm never going to look at you as serious material. The idea, the decision is on you. If you want to be serious, you're not going to talk to those guys. You want to talk to those guys, I'll fuck you sometimes. You decide. And I lay out.
And you see a lot of women got upset about that. They didn't like the fact that he say stuff like that. But a lot of men do feel that way. They're not comfortable with their lady being around having a bunch of male friends. It's just not cool with them. Men is very territorial. If they into a woman, they love the woman and they really care about, they territorial. It is what it is. It's just the way God made us. Don't get mad at me. That's just the way God made them. Okay? Let's get back to it.
On them. Now, if they choose to keep all their male friends, then that means she's chosen these friendships over me, which means sooner or later she was going to cheat anyway. Like, how long until she jumps on a new dick anyway? So why would I even be upset about it? But most men are too scared to just put the ultimatum down. And you haven't got to put the ultimatum down in some scary, big, brash way. Just be clear. Look, any woman I'm with who I take seriously doesn't hang around with other men. So it's your choice. And this is the point. But most men don't say anything. They let it slide and they let it get completely broken. And they come to me and say, well, how do I fix it? It's like, well, you have to make it not let it get broken in the first place. You need to understand your boundaries and expectations as a man. And you have to set them. And you have to make sure she complies and sticks to them. And if she doesn't, you're going to have to find somebody else. And this is another thing I talk about being a playboy. I have lots of guys come to me and say, oh, Tate, but I don't want to be a playboy like you. I say, look, if you want to be happily married, the best thing you can be first is a playboy. The best thing you can do, because you're going to learn a whole bunch about women. You're going to have a whole bunch of choices to choose for a wife. If you're stuck with one option, the one chick you met, she might be a dickhead. Some women are just dickheads. Some women have been fucked too hard too many times by too many big scary guys and they just don't want to listen to them. So like being a playboy is important. But yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the next clip. Hold.
When I talk about the Matrix, I'm talking about the systems which have been created by society, which are deliberately designed to enslave. In the movie, the Matrix were used for our body heat, but here in this Matrix, we're used for our efforts and our energies. And you're existing inside of a system which is deliberately rigged to make the rich richer and for the poor to stay poor. You can sit there and get upset about it. You can sit there and cry about it and say the system needs to change, which is what some people do, socialists, XYZ. But I think I know that's a waste of time, right? That's futile. The best thing to do is to understand the rules of the game and find a way to win. So yes, the game is rigged. Yes, the rich are always going to get richer. Yes, the poor are always going to struggle. And that's the way the game is set up. So you still need to find the best move on the chessboard. There's no point sitting there saying, I want to play a different game, because that's never going to happen. Because the people with the money are the people who have the control and they have the power. And why would they have the game set up any other way? Why would they change it? It's also the basic of economics. I think a lot of people don't understand the true basics of economics. And the basics of economics state that even giving money to the poor, it ends up back in the hands of the rich. There's no way to stop the rich getting richer. I've already explained this before. But I remember when they did the stimulus checks, and they passed out all this free money to everyone, $1,000. In England, they gave a lot more money. But in America, everyone got like $1,400 each, and everyone was happy about it, saying, oh, he's giving money for the poor. Yeah, but what do those poor people spend that money on? Amazon stock tripled because they all went to Amazon. So Jeff Bezos got richer, right? But the fact is that there's less companies than there are people. All those $1,400 checks amongst all those people at the bottom ended up in the hands of a few companies,
And the rich got richer, and you can't stop it. Doesn't matter if those people invested their money, doesn't matter if they bought stocks, doesn't matter if they bought crypto, doesn't matter if they bought a house, whatever. The people who have the assets and have the companies and have the control are always going to end up getting control of the currency, and they're always going to be richer. So that's kind of how it works. And it's getting worse and worse. Yeah, and that's another thing about opportunities, right? Because you have to be positioned to take advantage of opportunity. It's like in chess, they say good moves come from good positions. It's true. You can't find a good move from a terrible position, right? If you're sitting at home with no money, it's hard to invest in Bitcoin at $1. It doesn't matter what it goes to, right? You got to be in a good position to take advantage of things. So you've always got to be in a position where you have a good network, you have good information, you have some kind of liquid money, you have the ability to survive without that money. You can take a risk. Like, it's hard to set yourself up. I'm in a position now where I'm in the NBA. I'm an NBA player. I can never go broke again. So it doesn't matter, right? Once you're in the NBA, I can throw $1 million or something. It doesn't matter if it works or not. It doesn't make a difference. And that's why it's so much easier. They always say the first million is the hardest, and they're completely right. Once you get to a certain point, you can gamble to a degree, right? I always knew that the Matrix existed. And I always knew that the traditional systems, I just knew. Even when I was going to school and they were sitting there going, you're not going to get a good job if you don't get good grades. I was the one sitting there going, you're a liar. Shut up. I just knew the teacher was lying. I knew I knew college was bullshit. I knew university was a lie. I always knew it was a trick and a con. I didn't truly understand things to the level I understand them now. But I had an intrinsic understanding. And I think everybody does. If you're at a gas station and it's 3 a.m. and a Lambo pulls up and a guy gets out of it, you're thinking criminal, drug dealer, gangster. You're not thinking, he has a uni degree. Because you're not going to think that. So when you see money, people don't even associate the money they see with university. But then they go, I want to make money, so I'm in university. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So I think everybody knows that the system and the path they lay out for you is not a path that's going to lead to where you want to be. And I didn't know what the other path was, but that intrinsic distrust for the system and that distrust for the things they wanted me to do made me search for other avenues. And then I found them, right? And if you speak to the people who are richest, if you speak to the people you know, this is for everyone at home as well, if you speak to the people you know who have the most money and go up to them and say, hey, what made you rich? None of them say school. Do any of them say school made me rich? I got an A in GCSE. Like, who gives a It's just, right? It's all indoctrination. So I knew it was indoctrination, and for that reason, I was always searching. And if you're searching, you're going to find. They teach you things that, the problem is as well, it's difficult because the way that humans work and the way that we've evolved as a species is that we don't really learn lessons unless they're learned the hard way. I believe that unless a lesson is taught the hard way, you're not going to learn it. You can have so many near misses and people won't learn their lesson. Bro, you must know a guy who goes out there, nearly crashes his car, doesn't slow us down till he wrecks it. Like, this is how people are, right? So you need that pain for the lesson to sting enough to really genuinely go inside of your mind. And it's the same with everything. It's the same with driving a car or business. Truthfully, if you want to learn a lesson about business, you're going to have to suffer at some point, right? So we always say that most people are not successful with their first companies, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I get that. The truth is, there's a lot of people who make a lot of money with their first company, but they just act an idiot, and it all blows up in their face. And that's how you get the discipline on your fourth company, that when you have $3 million in the bank, you just leave it there.
All right. I just wanted to get a little bit of a clip of his motivational stuff, his way of thinking. All right, just give me a second here. So I want to show another clip. I want to see which one that clip is. So hold a second.
Try hard enough to obtain it, because I actually believe, this is another thing I'll say, I believe the universe is very giving. I think the universe and God himself is very giving. I've yet to meet somebody in all my years who is genuinely giving 100% of themselves day after day, doesn't snake anyone, firm handshake, look you in the eye, doesn't lie to nobody, and tries 100%, doesn't get what they want. I've never seen it. Every single person who doesn't have what they want, there's something in their story that doesn't quite add up. I've yet to see some guy have you ever seen a guy who eats right, trains his ass off, and never missed a gym session, ever not grow? Ever. Ever. It's just, that's the way the universe works, right? So if you're truly about it, you're truly trying your absolute best, you're going to do it. And that's what I believe. I believe the universe is extremely giving. So when I meet somebody and they go, I really wanted this and I don't have it, so you didn't really want it. You're a liar.
And here's where we come full circle. This is why I say we live in a matrix, because our body heat and our efforts and our ingenuity are being used by the machines. They are making us go to work and be the hardest working, smartest versions of ourselves. They're using our bodies, but they want our minds to live in a false reality. They don't want you to understand the truth about anything. They give you a computer-generated false reality for you to buy into, to occupy your mind long enough to keep you functional enough to work, but not sentient enough to understand you're being fucked. Just sit there until you pay taxes until you die. That's all they want. They don't want people to truly understand anything about the world. There's a reason why you go to school and you do not learn about taxes or money or banking or inflation or any of the shit that's going on now. The reason you don't learn the true version of history is the reason when you watch the news now, they don't tell you the truth about anything that's happening ever. And the only thing I can say to people is, if you know they've manipulated you in the past, if you're not so ignorant as to believe that you've been told the truth the entire time, if you understand reality, you know they've manipulated you in the past, why do you think they're not doing it right now? Why do you think they won't do it again? It's all a lie. Everything's a lie. Head to toe, it's a lie. It may be a scary idea, but I promise you, the judicial system proved itself to be corrupt. The financial system proved itself to be corrupt. The legal system proved itself to be corrupt. Every system you use and live under that's designed to protect you is corrupt. And when you encourage people to think for themselves, especially the youth, that's what Socrates got accused of. He's corrupting the youth. When you have the youth, the masculine youth of the world, thinking for themselves, that's pretty scary to authority. Because it's the masculine youth of the world that is, one, the revolutionaries, and two, also, that's the backbone of the slave force. If you need people to go die in a ditch in Afghanistan, you need them. If you need people to work bullshit jobs in a coal mine with no health care, you need them. You need the real men to go out there and comply with the bullshit, to live a shitty existence, to purport and prop up a system. The warrior class. The warrior class, right? And if enough of these men stand in one place and say, this is enough, that's when a revolution happens. So this is the most dangerous group of the demographic that the Matrix and the people are trying to control, and they have to have a narrative over. And that's why they're trying to weaken them in every regard. And when I'm sitting there saying, don't listen to the bullshit, become physically strong, think for yourself, do not blindly comply, resist the slave mind, all these things I'm saying, they just sat there one day and said, wait, most popular person on the planet is saying don't listen to them. These people cannot think. It's almost a sad realization when you wake up and understand that there's a large contingent of the world who cannot think. And when I say that, I don't mean that in some kind of, semi-sarcastic.
Yes.
What he just said about the workers is probably one of the reasons they're messing with him. It's because he's right. When you have the manual labor workers say, you know what, enough is enough, it'll shut down this world, because who is going to put up the power lines? Who is going to build the buildings? Who is going to deliver the food? And they stop as truck drivers. You just say every truck driver in this nation just stop driving. You know how much of an economic impact that will occur?
Ooh.
You know how much a food ration? It will be a food ration. It will be a supply ration. It will be a delivery ration. It will be bedlam if truck drivers were to say, you know what? F this. We're not driving the trucks anymore until you give us what we owe.
You have a point there. You have a point. All right, I'm gonna skip to the next clip. Hold, please.
Cowardice is the problem. The world is full of cowards. We suffer from a pandemic of cowardice. We've never suffered from any other pandemic the last 3 years. People are absolutely not cowards, and they do to me what they did to me to scare people. If you tell the average person you're going to lose contact with basically everyone you can speak to, you're not going to have a voice anymore, you're not going to have a bank account, you're not going to be able to make money online, you're not going to be able to move anywhere, you're not going to be able to transact, we're going to wreck you head to toe. The average person can't deal with that, right? On top of the fact that the average person is employed and they're scared of losing their job, scared of their employer. I'm in a unique situation because I'm extremely difficult to hurt. But the average person, as soon as you hurt their money, their life is over, right? And that's what we've got. We've got to a level of cowardice amongst the population where people are just going to sit there and ignore objective reality because they're scared of having this cancellation weapon used against them. So yeah, you're right. It's not that people don't agree with us. It's not that we're not saying the things that everyone knows are intrinsically true. It's that everybody is afraid to say it. And that can only end when everybody stands up and stops agreeing and playing this game and stops being cowards. We need mass numbers of people to say, no, I'm allowed an opinion. You know what? Nigel Farage, and since UKIP ended, I don't even know about his politics nowadays. I don't even know what he's doing. But he says something that was really interesting. He was asked about who runs the world. And I guess the person was trying to set him up for a question about the elites. And he said, truthfully, I'll tell you who runs the world. We do. Because we decide how much of this crap we're going to put up with. The problem is we're putting up with too much of it. The problem is everyone's a coward. And you're right. I get the same thing. Wow, thanks for saying it. Why don't you say it? And everyone is just terrified. And it really is truly crazy because fear has always been the control mechanism of man. The worst things that have ever happened in any society or any civilization since the dawn of fucking records has been done under the name of fear. Get the population afraid. What did Goebbels say? The propaganda minister of the Third Reich. Once people are afraid, give them a common enemy. They'll do anything you want. That's the Nazis knew this. Everyone knows this, right? So it's a basic playbook. But I think it's also a larger issue. I think that things like making sure people are semi-depressed, making sure people are divided, making sure people are selfish, making sure people are self-obsessed. They're trying to destroy people's will to stand up and care about anyone other than themselves. And once you do that, couple in with the fact that if you start to care about others and genuinely care about the world, you'll ruin your own life. It just makes people shut up.
Yeah. And it's so interesting you say that because something that is not often discussed or analyzed, one of the strangest things I've seen in the conversation around you and your meteoric rise in fame and popularity this year is not a lot of people are thinking, okay, well, for that to happen, he's got to be saying some real stuff, right? Like you don't grow by hundreds of thousands of followers per day. Like I've been following you for years, but I think at the beginning of the year, did you have maybe 500,000 Instagram followers? And by the time they took you off, you had about what, 5.7, 5.8 million. This is in the space of a few months. So even when I was talking to people who, say they don't like you or like, I'm like, look, even if you don't like the message, you don't agree with it, rather than just, why don't you think about, okay, what is it? What's happening in the world? And what is it that this man is saying that this is resonating with so many people to such a strong degree? And it seems like people wanted to just skip over that and go, but
these people can't think. These people cannot think. It's almost a sad realization when you wake up and understand that there's a large contingent of the world who cannot think. And when I say that, I don't mean that in some kind of, semi-sarcastic, or I mean that literally. There are people who have a strong emotional reaction to subjects they completely don't understand. There are people out there who will stand up and say, I hate Andrew Tate. Why? I hate him. He needs to go to jail. Like, okay, why? I hate him. Why? They don't know why. Once the Matrix can program an emotional response into you, and you can't even logically, with your own words, explain why you have that emotional response, you're completely a slave mind. These people don't think about anything. They believe what they're told to believe. They're emotional about what they're told to be emotional about, the exact direction they're told to be. And that's what the Matrix wants. It wants to be able to say a name and tell the world to hate them without even giving a reason and just get what they want. These people are so far gone. These individuals who they cannot logically explain their own emotions are so far gone, it's ridiculous. As an adult, what you need to do is seriously analyze every strongly held belief you currently have and work out where it came from. Is it personal experience? Is it from somebody who I care about and who I trust? Is it from what the news has said? Why do I believe this so much? Why do I have an emotional response to this? Where did it come from? People don't do that. They just sit there, watch the news, watch social media. I'm supposed to hate this guy, so I now hate this guy. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Zuby, because you're right. These people cannot think. They cannot even give a reason. There's a guy on TikTok who walks around and says, have you heard of Andrew Tate around college campuses? And people go, yeah. And he goes, do you like him? And they go, no. Why? He's a misogynist. What's misogynist mean? And then they can answer. They don't know what it means. Like it's almost sad. But then you live through the last 3 years and you realize that people can't think. There's a large contingent of the world that truly cannot think.
It's great. Yeah, it is kind of scary. I mean, it's so interesting because as someone who knows you, and privately and publicly, I've defended you a lot this year because people have been saying super wild stuff, and people don't. I posted actually when were we in Romania? 2020. I posted it was while they were in the process of taking away your accounts. I posted a photo. I was just reading the comments, and I was like, wow, people have such strong emotion. Why you, like, people will be mad that we're sitting here right now. You can't talk to this person. You shouldn't talk to that person, and so on. And the thing that blows my mind about it is, number one, I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. Like, I'm a good judge of character in general. And also, I think that your overall message to me is very clearly positive. That's the thing about it. To me, it's like, look, someone might not like this bit or that bit or disagree with that statement, but I'm like, look, overall, what this, it's not that dissimilar to me to what they tried to do with Jordan Peterson. Like you have, I'd say the overall message, perhaps even of all three of us, is somewhat similar. There's a certain through line about personal responsibility, building yourself up, especially as a man, not falling into this victim game, improving your mindset, improving your body, all of these things. But people will just ignore all of that. They'll just ignore all the positive. They'll ignore the fact that you're helping people.
Great point. They'll just ignore all of that and just go straight to, oh, he hit this woman. You know what I mean? They just forget all about it. They don't even try to do the research to find out exactly what he's all about and what happened. They don't do that. A lot of people don't. They just take little clips and that's it. And they don't want to focus on the positive. All right, let's get back to it. I'll get to my thoughts. I'm about to end this soon. Let's get back to it.
Motivating people, helping people. You get emails. I've had emails. Oh man, I was feeling suicidal. I was feeling this. I was feeling that. And just listening to you helped me. It motivated me, got me in the gym, and so on. And people just gloss over all of that, and they make it out as if like all you talk about is women or something.
No, and yeah, that's what's crazy. But the reason they'll gloss over all that is because, like I said, you have to ignore your own eyes. That's what you want when you're fully slave-minded. What I will genuinely state this as a fact. I will state this as a fact, even though I don't know it's a fact. But I would love for someone to do the study. Go out there in the world and ask 100 people if you like Andrew Tate or not. And the ones who say yes and the ones who say no, do an IQ test. And I guarantee you, the biggest idiots out there, when I see people who dislike me and I see them trying to explain why, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. It's like, it's English, but it doesn't make logical sense. And yeah, they'll come at me with the garbage about being a misogynist, etc. Not very often do people argue my points, because arguing my points is absolute destruction because they know they're wrong. So what they try and do is discredit my character. They say, he's a bad person, he's a misogynist, he's done this, he's done that, he's evil. But what does he say that you disagree with? What does he say that's wrong? Oh, but he's a bad person. They can't argue against my points. And the only reason they try and say I'm a bad person is because they're weaponizing virtue to try and find a way to attack me. They can't attack me logically because they know I'm right. They can't attack my successes as a man or as a person. They can't say I'm not successful. They can't find anything bad to say about me besides bald, which they probably come at you with. But they say, where's your hair? It's like, okay, cool. I shaved it off. But which is ridiculous in and of itself. But then they say, okay, well, then he's a bad person. And the thing about it is, once they understand that the only way they can attack you is by saying you're a bad person, it doesn't matter once that you prove them wrong. They're not interested in the truth. They're not interested in truth. You can sit and say, here's proof he's not a misogynist. Here's proof he's no criminal record, never done anything wrong. Here's proof he's a nice person. Here's proof he gives to charity. Here's the orphanage he built. Here's the dogs he rescued. Here's the millions he's given away. Here. They don't want to see it. They're just blind to it. They're like, no, I ignore my own eyes. That can't possibly be true because the media told me this guy must be bad. And they're slave-minded. And what's actually scary is that these people genuinely believe that they're the good people of Earth. And it's always completely the opposite. Those who can be programmed by the media machine and the matrix to just be slave-minded and not think for themselves are the exact ones who always commit the most atrocities. These are always the people who end up doing the most heinous shit. And when you ask them why, they're like, oh, well, at the time, I just put on the gas chamber, newspaper told me to, oops. That's who these people are. So whenever I see a slave-minded person, it's not just a matter of going, oh, well, you're a dummy. I look at them with genuine disdain. I look at you and think you're actually a bad person. You're genuinely evil. You cannot think for yourself. I don't even see you as a person I ever want to get to know or I'd love to deprogram you, but it's impossible. These people are genuinely the worst people on the planet. And it's kind of convenient that all the people who dislike me are the worst people on the planet. So it's fine. I don't have to talk to them anyway. But if you read any history book, or read any of it, all the most heinous shit committed by humanity were people who just couldn't think for them fucking selves. Every single time.
Awful. The worst things that have happened and that happen, I don't believe happen because most people are malicious or evil. I think it's that they are cowardly. I think a lot of it is cowardice. I think most people would rather be in the majority than be right. And once people have made up a decision or been told what to think, doesn't matter what the issue is, to get them out of it or to admit that they're coming out of it is extraordinarily difficult. We're still dealing with this after the past 2.5 years.
Okay, I'm going to move to another clip. Hold a second.
What do you think is the hardest challenge for the average man today?
Okay, I'm going to show this clip here. Why am I showing the clip? I'll get to it. Reason why I'm showing these clips. All right, let's get into this clip. This was the holiday, having lunch with his brother, Christian Tate, Andrew and Tristan Tate. Oh gosh. Okay, let's get to it.
You went home for a £250 coffee?
You think I'm going to say no to that?
Thank you very much. We're in the box inside.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good.
What would you like to have?
Black coffee.
Black coffee, yeah.
Black. What else? What else can you have it as?
So you can have it as like a V60, which is like a filter coffee, like the purest form.
Okay, well, obviously I'm going to have to order this. So you have the filter coffee or what else?
So you can have it as like anything, like an espresso, that way.
Just give me like an Americano, like a large black coffee of the Savannah zone. He'll have the Sumatra wild coffee. One. What do you want, guys? Black coffee? Black coffee. And then I'll have the Japan Typica Natural.
Yeah.
Has a black coffee as well.
So is that just a
filter Americano? Yeah, Americanos. Coffee, the one you want. Yeah, Sumatra coffee. And for him, and I'll have this one. We have large sparkling waters, 3 ginger martinis, and then we'll have 3 64 day age ribeyes, medium.
chili sauce on that, please?
Yeah, where's the sauces?
What's the type of cheese sauce?
Chimichurri.
All chimichurri?
I think so, yeah. Then we'll have French fries with black garlic mayonnaise, Duff and Wop potatoes, macaroni and cheese, and sprout and broccoli. You also have chicken. I saw some chicken up there. Where's the chicken?
You have the hot chicken or the turmeric chicken?
Yeah, half. Which one's better? Baby chicken. Give me a baby chicken. We'll share it. And bring us some chili. Do you have some kind of chili sauce or hot sauce, Tabasco?
Tabasco, yeah.
I can bring some Tabasco. Or peri, anything you have that's spicy. I'd lots of sparkling water, bro. 2 or 3 bottles, please. 3 big bottles, yeah. Thanks, you.
What's your cousin again?
Your cousin. Not my cousin. Can't be.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done with the clips here. And Jack, do you have anything for closing thought that you want to share your closing thought before I say something?
No. We'll just see. We'll just see if the prosecutor has evidence. If they don't, they should be let go. If there is evidence, then it needs to be taken to trial. So that's all.
Okay. Well, basically, I agree the same thing too. And I want to say is a lot of people, with success brings hate, and a lot of men is jealous of them because that's why I show the last clips, because they're young guys. They 30 something years old, and they made it big at such an early age. I mean, they started early, right? And they made it big. And you have a lot of people that's just not go-getters. They want to sit around complain. They're not trying to do anything to change their lives. So when the stuff that him and his brother says, that kind of intimidates people. They get upset. It ruffles their feathers. If you're secure about yourself, you're not insecure, it really wouldn't bother you with the things that they say. You just take it, like, hey, they have a point, or hey, whatever. You just, pay it no attention. I do personally think that him and his brothers are great motivators. I like the stuff that they say. I think they're motivational. And I do feel sorry for the younger generation of men out here because they don't really have great role models. They don't have anybody really speaking for them. And it's sad because, our men, we need them to lead and to provide and protect. And a lot of these young men out here are so clueless. They don't even know what to do. They totally clueless. So I like some of the things that they say that they express to the young men. And I feel that, hey, they want to kind of stop them from speaking because, hey, you open up these young men's eyes. You're going to have them out here speaking and being what a man is supposed to be. And that's a problem. We can't have that. We don't want you to be, the man that you're supposed to be. That's not good. Now let's talk about the women. Why women don't like them? In my opinion, and these are all my thoughts and opinions. Okay, I don't hang out with the Tate brothers. I don't break bread with them, so I don't know. Just going by what my research and a little bit watching videos and stuff like that. Not short form videos, long form. With women, a lot of women they get their bent out of shape because of one, they just kind of jealous. They wish they could just have men like Andrew Tate. Or something close to Andrew Tate, or something close to Tristan Tate. So they get all bent out of shape because, they had bad experience with men, or they only date a bunch of dusties and stuff like that. So, these type of dudes and going on nice dates, going on vacations, they're not used to that. So they just want to bash other women. Okay, and like I said, you can check out my past commentary stuff that we have talked about because I did a video with Tristan Tate. He was talking about being a gentleman, and I did a video with Andrew Tate with this other woman named Cheyenne. Cheyenne, and he was supposed to be on the date, and he was talking about relationships. You learn more about his relationship values and stuff. And everybody has different views on relationship. You just you go for the one that works for you, right? Now, on the flip side, if all of this is true, because you have to think about it, I look at it like they just don't arrest people for no reason. Is this all true or is it not? But this happened before and they let them go. So it's like, what's going on? And this is a whole nother country, so I don't know their rules and what they do out there. So it's kind of completely different than here in the States. But time will tell. And yes, if it comes out that these two guys are doing these things, well, they are monsters, if it's the truth. But I feel like his friend, when he said this, until I see some, videos or something like that, not just, evidence, some hardcore evidence. Oh, yeah, that's not good. And I'll, do commentary on it. But until right now, I just don't feel that they did. But time will tell. We'll see the evidence and see the proof is. And like I said, what do I always tell y'all? Everything always jumps off on the holidays. Just before the holidays. Birthdays the 14th, 15th. Then you got Christmas. And then all of a sudden New Year's. And he's spending it in jail. Him and his brother. Oh, I wanted to show the clip of the cell. Of what, not his cell, like the cell would look like, I forgot. I should have put that one up. I want to show what he's spending at, and it's for 30 days. And, it's really sad. One person who didn't do nothing and they have to spend all that time in jail. But if he did do it, lock them up and throw away the key. Because my channel is all about, I don't condone those type of men. I really don't. Not at all. But time will tell. Okay, and we'll find out. And Rusty says he got swatted. I agreed. Show the facts, although fabricated facts happen too. Yeah, we just don't know. We just don't know. All right, Chad says, I believe it was a mutual deal. Okay. And hi, Chad, and welcome. So, anybody else have any questions? You want to share your thoughts? Or, I'll put the link out if somebody wants to come up here and they want to talk about this and share their thoughts. Matter of fact, I'll just put the link out for a second. If anybody wants to come up on the panel. And they want to come up, but please, no showing yourself. And no, we don't want that one. If you just want to share your thoughts, if you want to come out here, I'll put it out here. And say come up on the stream and share your thoughts. Cause I like to hear other people's, thoughts and opinions about it. Do you feel that, hey, these guys is a bunch of misogynists and they beat women and I think this is what happened and they deserve what's happened to them? Or do you feel that, hey, well, I have to wait and see the proof comes out? Or do you feel like, oh, it's just a bunch of hate towards them? And that does happen. How do you feel about it? Oh, I'm totally, if women want to do that, Chad, it's their business or what they want to do. But if they forced in doing something like that, no, that's not right. And that happens a lot, that people are forced to do stuff like that. And I feel sorry for women and men too, young men. Anybody who's being forced to do something that they don't want to do is wrong in anything in life. I'm totally against. No one should be forced. But if it's consensual and the person wants to and they okay with it, well, hey, who am I to judge? That's what you want to do. Only person who could judge in this world is God. At the end of the day, it's him. We can share our thoughts and opinions, but who is us to judge? All right, so I guess nobody wants to jump up here. I want to jump up and share a thought. And I wanted to do something. Let me check this poll. Okay. Now the poll here that we have. Okay. Chad says I won't lie, he is a sob. I imagine he does that. He does take advantage of girls who are down bad. Okay, so you feel it might be. All right. And Rusty says whiskey and sex, how towns are built. Oh boy. All right, let me just read this poll here. I'm gonna let y'all go here because way past. I only want to do this for 40 minutes, but I started getting into videos. All right, so we have 15 votes here, ladies and gentlemen. And the question is, do you think the Tate brothers did it? 27% says, no way, Donna. 27% says, of course, Donna. And 47% says, I will wait for the outcome to say. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty. And who is this about? Chad said, hey, girl, hey. Hey. All right, Chad said, I haven't seen a minute. Hey, girl, hey. Missed you. Missed you too. All right, so that's about it. I'm going to end it here. But stay tuned because tomorrow I have a premiere, Crunch a Munch premiere of this piece of crap that we're going to get into, oh yeah, what he did, posing as an Uber driver. And the woman got in the Uber, thought it was her Uber, but it wasn't. And it's just sad. It really is just sad. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have yourself a blessed night and a great one. And thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging. And we will stay tuned and find out what's going to happen with the Tate brothers. Is this basically just a hate thing? Because these are some young guys in their 30s and they made it happen. They didn't have a pot to piss in, nowhere to throw it. They were struggling. And they decided, hey, I'm tired of struggling. I want to make money. I'm tired of seeing my mother standing on her feet with arthritis, struggling, working every day. We want to make sure she doesn't have to work again a day of her life. They wanted to take over the role of their father because their father, he passed away. And, well, they was divorced and everything, but they want to step in. A lot of, boys do that. Sons do that. And they have their daughter, the youngest one, the sister. So we'll just see what happens, if it's true or not. So everybody stay tuned for some more of Donna Just Being Real. Hit the like button and bye. Date smart, not Thursday.